Hello, everybody. I'm back with the Winner's Circle podcast. I'm Doug Upstone, filling in for Ross Benjamin today, and I am with veteran handicapper Chip Chirimbes. And hey, we got another fun show for you. We'll be talking some NBA today. But before we get to that, I just want to let everybody know that today is the final day at gamblersworld.net to where you can buy 3 days and get the fourth day free. So what that means is you, just as it explains, any handicapper on the site, including Chip, including Ross Benjamin, or any of the other great 8 handicappers here at the site, if you buy 3 days, you're going to get the fourth one free. And so that expires tomorrow. So make sure that you jump in today and get that package going and get yourself some winners. Okay, here at gamblersworld.net. Chip, how are you today? How are things going?
You know, it's always easy to lift your head off the pillow when you come up with a big winner like we had last night. And that's how I feel about it. You know, I was very pleased with laying the points with the Celtics. Something that, you know, that's an anomaly, Doug, for us to laying double digits in a playoff game where, you know, the line was just so high. I couldn't deny it. And they end up covering by the skin of their teeth, but a win is a win. And in the other game with Dallas, boy, I love that side, but I just didn't have what it takes, Doug. I just couldn't put that game out. And I went with Boston. I figured that was the best shot. But this Dallas team, to me, sometimes they look so great and sometimes they look so bad. I think their experience and the fact that they're veterans there has really helped their cause.
I would agree with you on that. You know, so I agree. Get a little Bill Raftery onions up for you on that pick, taking Boston.
Yeah,
that's not easy. You know, and speaking of that, we'll just go off a little bit here off tangent. But you know, looking what Boston and how their situation has played out. I mean, is this like the easiest path seemingly a team has ever got to get to the finals? Yeah. I mean, it's not like Boston's not good. I'm not even going to go that direction. I mean, they had a great season this year. Their wins their point differential was top shelf this year across the board. Yeah, they lost a few games here and there, you know, that were really head scratchers. But I mean, you know, they get Miami. Jimmy Butler's out. Okay, Donovan Mitchell missed some time, wasn't 100%. If it's the Knicks, okay, in the finals, it's going to be a compromised team with a lot of injuries that's playing with a lot of guts and heart. And if it's Indiana, it's a super young team whose future is ahead of itself, not necessarily right now. What do you think about that?
I think Boston, everyone sort of feels like it's a cakewalk for them because the toughest teams were definitely in the West this year. I mean, the top 3 teams, one game and the record separated them all. And we're seeing great basketball between them right now. Boston, you know, they had to worry about who? Philadelphia just didn't have enough. And the Knicks, believe it or not, have 4 starters that weren't even playing at the beginning of the year. 3 of these guys weren't even on the club, and they're starting. So, you know, the idea that Boston could have walked on through, I think, is how we sort of view it. And the idea that the Knicks were the number 2 seed, I think, was a big surprise to everyone from beginning to end. If you start at the beginning of the season, and so, but how they came on after they made that midseason trade. They certainly were the best or the second best team in the East since that trade came down to give it to Toronto.
Yeah. Now the other thing just to touch on now, any thoughts on, you mentioned about Dallas and Oklahoma City, you know, I mean, I'm just looking at Oklahoma City, and yesterday I took Dallas in that game also. And, you know, there's just, I mean, you can see the future. I mean, it's sort of like Indiana. You can see what's going to happen. It's just not, seemingly, it just isn't there yet. And I don't know if I said it on this show or not, but one of the things that I thought of was the winner of Minnesota and Denver was going to win the West and play Boston for the finals. And that's not exactly breathtaking news here, but I mean, it just seemed like that's the way it was kind of set up. And I still feel that way no matter what the outcome of Oklahoma City and Dallas is. What about you?
I think Dallas can be pretty dangerous if they get through this here. And like you said, Oklahoma City, I mean, they've been so great to us all year. I just think that possibly, maybe I don't want to say playoff pressure, but the idea that they're so young and this is the first time they've got to this level. I mean, they only won like 18 games last year and the improvement was dramatic. And we made a lot of money with them this year, Doug, but now it's crunch time. And, you know, maybe, like I said, the veterans and the experience that the Mavericks have help them overcome the Thunder. And, that's where we are with that one. I think it's the youth has really hurt Oklahoma City in this matchup.
I would agree with you on that one. Now, Chip, I know you'd said you had some great winners yesterday. So what else you got going on? What else has been happening for you? I know your Mega Bucks place continues to deliver.
With a small schedule in baseball yesterday, we had the White Sox, believe it or not, and they come through with us with a shutout victory. Baseball's trotting right along. We're coming along with it. We don't post quite as many Megabucks, our best bet winners at this time of the year as we're doing in the NBA, because right now it's the big games and the big money and the big matchups. We have such a resume to work on. I mean, not only the regular season, but the postseason now. They've all played each other 5-6 times. So, it just seems to fall into place here during the NBA. And Major League Baseball, yesterday, light schedule. I'm not looking to put a whole lot out there until this NBA subsides.
There you go. Okay, that sounds like a great plan. Yeah. Now, Ross isn't here, so I'm gonna give Ross his props, okay, with what he's been doing, especially in the NBA. He's on runs of 21-7 and 34-12, so those are just outstanding numbers. Okay, and he's just been tearing it up. And at gamblersworld.net, the last 30 days, I happened to stop by the site today, and who is the number one guy at the site for the last 30 days? Well, it's Ross Benjamin. So congratulations, Ross. Hopefully everything, I know you're going to be back tomorrow, so everything will take care of itself. So that has been outstanding. Now, for me, I'm over at Doc Sports. Everybody that's been watching has heard Ross say it over and over with why I'm at Doc Sports and not at Gamblers World, so I'm not going to go into all that. But I've had a very good month of May, okay? And just across the board, for example, 64% run in the NBA, 64% run in Major League Baseball, 60% run in hockey going right now, and props dating back to December, 60% run there. So just consistency has been my hallmark, okay, in delivering these types of results. So I'm going to look to continue it. And, and like Chip, I've been around the block a few times doing this. And so my picks, I have always had them independently monitored when I first started doing this. And so I got 24 documented number one titles, okay, at independent monitors and 104 top 10 finishes. So it's been a very nice career, Ross, Chip, just like yourself. And hey, look to continue to deliver the results. Now, I will say, along with this, for those that have been to this podcast and have not signed up for it to subscribe, please do so. Okay, get yourself subscribed. You can get free picks every day, 5 days a week. Okay. Chip Chirimbes is there too. I'm here too. And then Ross with Jesse and Sean the other 3 days. So, hey, make sure that you sign up. And then at the same time, you get the free picks on the shows. And then also from all the great handicappers at gamblersworld.net. So, Chip, you're going to talk about Game 6, Denver and Minnesota. And what a wild series this has been. Okay. I mean, just the only one that I could even compare to, and it's not even the same, was 2011 when Dallas played Miami in the finals. Yeah. And that one though was 2-1 Miami. And then literally Dallas just shut them down. It just turned on a dime. Dallas won the last 3 games and won the NBA championship. I don't know. That's the only one I could think of that's even close to how this one is, Chip. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, with you having so many top 10 finishes over the years, you've been around a long time. I can tell you that much.
I have. I'm not denying. It's been 20 plus years, actually. So yeah.
But this Dallas, I remember that series well because Dallas turned it around. I think there was a halftime score where I think the Heat thought the series was over. Much as many people thought this Denver-Minnesota series was over when Minnesota goes up 2-0 on the road. Yes, Doug, it was you. And 2-0 on the road, right? And we said they had no chance. Now here's Minnesota's stifling defense coming home after winning 2 in a row against the defending NBA champions. And it's been a whole different story since Game 3 started. And now it looks like it's the Timberwolves that are having trouble getting the ball near the basket. Anthony Edwards seems to be struggling a little bit more. And Denver is playing to their optimum value right now. And this is a big matchup here, this Minnesota game. And I happen to think that the last 3 games actually between these two have gone over. The first 2 that were in Minnesota went under. And if you look back to the 2 previous games before the playoffs here, because now this total, Ross, is 205. I think you gave me, and I know you gave me that. And it was 217 and 215 and a half in the two meetings prior to the playoffs. So here we go again with the idea they clamped down and they actually played defense during the postseason, and it has helped Denver out. That's for darn sure. Even though the last three games have gone over, Minnesota at home this year, 32-13 straight up. And they're only, you might consider the money line on this game if you like them, as opposed to laying probably going to be under 2 by game time. It looks like there is Denver money coming, isn't there, Doug, right now?
Yeah,
I mean, it seems that way. But like I said, when this team was down 0-2, we virtually, wiped them out of our minds anyway. I had trouble coming back with them and passed on them in a couple of games. And, this Denver team has gone under 53 times and only over 38, I think is. And Minnesota is 47-44. So the dominant stat or trend here is for this to be under, although the last 3 wins by Denver were all over. So sometimes you have to sort of look through this and see what you can get out of it. And with that line being 205, I think this game stays under the total. I really do. And it's 3 straight overs. Now it's time to come back, and you're in Minnesota. Look at this game to stay under the total.
Yeah, I like your thinking there, because I mean, this also a lot depends, and I think the way to view this game. If you happen to like Minnesota to win and cover the game, well, their best chance is going to be to get under. If you happen to like Denver, it would likely, because of the results of the last 3 games, that would be over. So, but I do like your thinking there, and I think you got a really good chance to be correct yet again. I'm going to go a little different direction, okay, on this one. Minnesota, up against it big time in this one. 3 straight losses. I think it's the first time this year they've lost 3 straight games, and so it's like, how can they lose 4? Well, how could they lose 3? So I think they're going to have to change what they've been doing. I think their coach Glenn Taylor, has got to do something different, and so I think they have to increase the ball pressure on defense, and they got to take the ball more to the rim on offense. So to me specifically, what does that mean? Karl Anthony Towns, he needs to get the ball into the paint. He either needs to take it directly to the basket to score, get fouled, get it to Gobert, for dunks, or kick it out to shooters that can make shots. Defensively, I think the big thing they need to do is to pick up Denver, literally whoever has the ball right at half court. Try and get their timing off, because their timing has been literally beautiful, the last 3 games in terms of how they're moving the ball, finding open shooters. And Minnesota cannot double team, because it is getting just picked apart when they're double teaming here. So what I'm going to suggest is to take Minnesota -1 for the first quarter. Okay. So if they have that mentality, I think in this situation, in terms of desperation, everything, I think it's a good spot for them to be able to do that. So that's my play. But officially, we are going with Chip's pick, which is going to be under 205 for Game 6 between Minnesota and Denver. All right. So I'm here, and I'm going to do some prop plays for you, and I got a couple of them for you. And so we'll start off. I got one for each team. So I'm going to start off first with Denver. Aaron Gordon, in the playoffs, he really got off to a slow start. Didn't play very well against the Lakers, and really didn't play very well to start this series. But since then, things have really changed. For the Lakers series, in the first 2 games of this series, he scored in the first. So let's see, that was 7 games. He scored 29 points in 1 game. The average in the other games, less than 10 points. Now, in his last 3 games, he's averaged 19.3 points per game. He has been engaged more offensively with 5.6 assists, and his defense, not a surprise, has risen. So with this one, his total on this game for scoring is only 14.5. So I'm going to say over for Aaron Gordon for Denver. Chip, any thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I can't believe how much research you must be doing to go through player by player and come up with these numbers. I mean, I'm telling you, the God's honest truth, it boggles me, because it clutters my brain, and I don't want to think about individuals. I'm still the team concept out here. And yes. I think that's how they do it. I mean, and I haven't seen a team look so different the last 3 games as they did the two prior games is this Minnesota team. It's like they switch uniforms. I'm kind of surprised about that. But as far as individual props, I tried looking at a few last night to try and get a footing for it, so I can add more to it for you, Doug. But really, I get more confused than anything else. So I don't have personal player props. I mean, I remember the first time I ever saw one. And what had Larry Bird against Houston in the playoffs, Bird was averaging like almost 30 for the year, and it came in and they had 17.5 as his total. And I didn't have the nerve to bet under at that time. I knew something was wrong with this, and I think he had 13 points in that game, and that was a dead giveaway with that point spread. I haven't been able to figure out yet, Doug, just how this thing is working with the numbers, because I look for an anomaly. I'm a numbers guy. I'm looking for something that's different. For example, if you had a guy averaging 6 points and they gave him a total of 11, I would look to play over and not under. Yeah. That's an anomaly to me. So I'm trying to gear up and I'm looking to do this next season, actually, to come up with a prop every day on some games. But right now, I'm just I'm flummoxed with it because there's so much there too. You go to look, you got every player, you got assists, you got rebounds, and then you have combinations, assists and rebounds. So there's so many different ways you can go. If you have great intuitive instincts and you're on the inside with this, you might be able to make a lot of money. Right now, I'm just standing back and learning and observing from this. I'm having so much success with the sides. I really don't have to go that way right now.
Right. And that's completely understandable. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, I am by no stretch of the imagination a guru on these things, and I don't pretend to be. And my method, I think I mentioned one of the last few shows here, that I try to really just narrow it down. And so I really think it's important you not only have to look at some of the numbers, but you have to watch. And I think that's important to me, at least, and some of these prop bets, especially like when you get into the playoffs where you're just talking about a couple of teams playing like tonight, is that, if you don't know that Gordon, for example, is going well, and I'm not saying I'm going to be right, but if you don't know he's been going well, and all of a sudden see how he's playing, you'd have no idea. So I just, it's more like, and I think you do this, is essentially you're looking to pick spots. That's what it really comes down to. Same thing here. So, all right. So I gave you the Denver, so I'm going to go with Minnesota. After a sluggish start in this one, despite his team losing, Rudy Gobert in the last two games, between rebounds and points, he's had 29 and 25 respectively. So his season average, by the way, then is 27. So he's, basically he's just on either side of it. And right now he's facing the best player in the NBA in Jokic. So for the Timberwolves to extend their streak, I think it's all hands on deck for Minnesota here. And I think they have a chance to play well in this one. And I think Gobert has to be a part of that. So when I saw his rebounds and points was 23.5, I thought it was a good number. So I'm going to recommend take the Timberwolves big man and to go over 23.5 for points and rebounds. There you have it. Okay, there's our free picks from myself and Chip. And hey, we're going to look to have another unbeaten day. We've had a couple recently on that, so we'll see if we can do that yet again. So, Chip, anything else? So I know you said you got.
I got some big information for you, Doug.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Today is May 16th, right? 1954.
That's correct.
Now, how about this? Ted Williams had a broken collarbone. He returns to action on this date in 1954 in a doubleheader and gets 8 hits. He was 38 years old at the time. 8 hits in a doubleheader in one day. And, we know for you have a guy like Sanchez, that's a month of hits. Anyway, also now we have more Yankee history here.
Okay.
In 1957, this is a very infamous event, and it actually changed the structure of the New York Yankees at the Copacabana. Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, and the instigator of a brawl in New York, Billy Martin. This was the date in 1957. In 1957 it was, and Billy Martin was soon traded right after that because they thought he was such a bad influence on Mickey Mantle. And Mantle was in his 5th season at the time, and Whitey Ford was an old veteran. He had been drinking, and Yogi, you're not getting rid of him. So that's what happened on this date. And finally, we'll give you something in basketball. It was on this date in 1985 that a guy by the name of Michael Jordan received the Rookie of the Year award. But today, in 2024, what you can get is the big-time Megabuck winner, from Chip Chirimbes, the A play, the single strongest play on the board in tonight's basketball action. So, Ross, just log on. Ross. Sorry, Doug. I didn't mean to insult you like that. I mean, oh boy, I'm going to hear it from Ross after that. Just log on, follow the bindings to become an A-play winner. Big game tonight. The Megabucks 15-7. That's 68.5%. So become an A-play winner, and we'll all be happy tomorrow.
All right, there you go. There's what Chip's got going for tonight. So that should be great at gamblersworld.net. Myself, I have a 6-unit play also going in the NBA. It's a best bet. And so, like I said, I'm hitting 64 of my plays recently in the NBA. So look to cash a couple of those. I also have 2 props. And actually, the first one of the year, I have an MLB and NBA props. You're going to get 2 of them, okay, for one price. And so check that out at my page at Doc Sports. And Major League Baseball swept a two-pack yesterday. Chip said he had the White Sox. I took the Phillies in the first 5 innings and the Astros on the run line. So that was nice. So taking me up to 64%. And so tonight I'm calling for an absolute blowout on a short schedule. Love the game. Love this team on the run line. Should be a no-brainer on this one. So that's what Chip and I have going in terms of plays for now. Now, don't forget tomorrow, Ross will be right back in his chair, and he's going to have Jesse Schule and Sean Higgs, and they're going to do their Winner Circle live show. Okay. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. And so bring your comments, bring a lot of them. You know what, Chip and I, we should stop by just to throw them off, throw them a couple of curveballs, okay, and see how they react if we have some stuff to have a little fun with them as well. So, but make sure you tune in for that. So, thanks for everybody for watching. It's been fun yet again. Chip, hope you had a good time. I know I certainly did. And hey, let's just pound out some more winners. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.